Well, I picked up a new kayak, and I know what you're probably thinking. Dersch, what's wrong with the boat that you have? Honestly, nothing. But this year, starting 2022, I'm gonna be doing kayak tournaments, so I needed to buy a kayak, obviously. But I really can't stop to do an intro right now. I gotta walk probably about half of a mile down this trail still before it rains out. Finally made it down to the pond. And the nice thing too is I've already seen a couple rises from bass, and I just got here like 2 minutes ago. Now I do still understand it's the end of March and this pond actually was still frozen a week and a half ago, so I still don't think the fish are gonna be super active. But since I bought the new kayak, I definitely wanted to at least get out and try it out for a little bit. I'm pretty pumped to get out here. Alright, so I'm just kind of rocking this back and forth, and not as stable as I remember kayaks being. Alright, so I don't know if you guys remember this, but a couple videos ago I did a video about a megabass swim jig. Unfortunately, I found out this jig head here I think is made out of lead. So unfortunately, lead is illegal to use in New Hampshire. So if you do live in a state where lead jigs are illegal, I would not suggest picking this up. That being said, I'm still going to be throwing a jig today, but this time I'm going to be throwing a tungsten jig. This tungsten jig is from KAYAK, and right on the side there you can see that it says 3/8 of an ounce. Now, as you guys can pretty much tell, the water here is pretty stained. So on the back of this, I think, no, I'm just going to be putting a KAYAK swing impact on it. I am going to be snipping off a little bit of the head and just kind of feed this down. Alright, cool. And for my second rod, I have a fluke right here. This is the Magnum 7-inch fluke. Now, the pond I'm fishing is really shallow and weedy, so I really think this weedless presentation is going to come in handy. And so for my third and final line, I'm going to be using a jerkbait. Now, like I just said, this place is really shallow and weedy, but what's going to help me keep this bait up above those weeds is right now I am using 20-pound line. Don't get me wrong, I'll be the first to admit is a little bit overkill, but what that's going to allow me to do is keep this bait up higher in the water column, and then on top of that I'm going to try to keep my rod tip up. And the combination of heavy line and keeping my rod tip up, this bait should only go down 2 or 3 feet. All right, let's get the stepping out here. I think I'm gonna do is just work along this shoreline right here and then kind of cross over, fish that island over there to my left. So I'm gonna try to do that fancy view where it looks over my shoulder as well. Trying everything out. Those are definitely gonna change up. I definitely want like a hook on the side of my kayak right here where I can stick my oar. Okay. Standing up is doable. I'm definitely gonna have to practice. I'm gonna switch over to the regular jerkbait just for a little bit. I still think it's gonna be a little bit too weedy, but why not just try it out for a little bit? Definitely want to switch over to the jig for a little bit. I see some down logs over to my left. That's a treat. All right, this is the last cast actually. Stop getting hooked on. What are we dealing with? All right, switching back over to the jerkbait. Don't want to lose my Mega Bass Vision 110. It's my favorite color. Ah, there we go. This next spot looks jiggy. But what I think I'm gonna do is switch over to this inline spinner. I really thought I was gonna be able to catch at least a couple small ones on the jerkbait, but nothing. Alright. So as kind of a last ditch effort, I'm going to be throwing the inline spinner now for a little bit. Got one. Nice one. Nice one. Really nice one. Ooh, ooh. Go where you want, buddy. Go where you want. I don't want to snap off. It's got to be a pickerel. Ooh, that is a big pickerel. Oh. Don't snap me off. Right as the rain's coming. He can snap me off. Please don't. That's why I'm using... Yes! That's what I'm talking about, baby! First fish today. Whoa! Look at this fatty. Oh, look at this fatty. Alright. Ooh. Okay, I finally caught a fish. I mean, took me all afternoon. I only have maybe half an hour left of battery on my GoPros. But hey, I'll take it. Ooh, 100% a fish right there. Oh, I still got him. Don't cut me off, please. Nice. Ah, there we go. Second fish today. Splashed me right in the frickin' eyeball. Like, that made direct contact with my eyeball. Got him. Just want a bass. Thank you very much. Well, I don't know how much more I'm gonna fish. The weather said it was supposed to rain the rest of the night. So it's probably not gonna stop. And I got all my camera gear out. Ooh, fish, fish. Fish in the rain. Don't be a pickerel. It's a bass. And it's actually a decent bass too. Yes, dude. That's what I'm talking about. Finally a bass. Cool. That's what I'm talking about. Today started off slow. I should have started with the inline spinner. Look at that one. Should have started here, but I mean, who would have guessed the inline spinner would have been better than a jig, a fluke, a jerkbait even. And there goes my last battery. Alright, the only camera left is you up there. No way. Is this a fish? It's gotta be a weed. It is a fish. Big bass. Big bass. Big bass. Yes. Nice bass. Alright. Get over here, you. Yes! Dude! That's what I'm talking about. I was just talking about tricking the big girl. And then look at this one. That is what I'm talking about. Oh yeah. Look at that. What a nice fish. Alright, so hopefully the audio is still pretty good. I doubt it, but we're still gonna roll with it. I just could not get bit on anything other than the inline spinner today. I know that is like kind of an out of the ordinary lure to throw, but I've said this before. To me, an inline spinner is just a finesse spinnerbait. Now I am kind of surprised I hit the inline spinner instead of the jerkbait. I really thought they'd be hitting the jerkbait considering how early in the season it is, but also considering how early in the season it is, I really think the water temps are still too cold for those bass to be chasing a jerkbait. Why I think the inline spinner kind of excelled out of all the other baits is because this thing imitates a slow, dumb minnow. I mean, I can get this thing just barely crawling underneath the water, and this blade will just be spinning and vibrating like crazy. And a fish, in my opinion, is gonna be able to feel that like 15 feet away. So as it just gets closer and closer and closer, it's just sitting there and sitting there waiting for it. And I think the bass think that they don't even have to chase it. They just have to go over and grab it. And I almost didn't pack the inline spinner today, and boy would I have regretted that decision if I didn't. Really nice taking my kayak out for the first time. At first, when I first got in it, I thought it was kind of tippy, but I think that's just because I wasn't used to it yet. Actually, towards the end of the day, I had zero issues with it. I didn't think it was tippy at all. Because like I kind of mentioned earlier, I'm going to be doing tournaments, and some of my tournaments are in May and early June, and the bass could still be on beds that time of the year. So if I can stand up and kind of sight fish bass, I think that'll help me immensely. Not to mention just to stand up and stretch will help out quite a bit as well. But I come out with videos every single week. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really do